Greetings for the month. My name is Russ Hatfield, and my higher dimensional twin soul is named Karra, who is joining me and is also a member of Ashtar Command. We go back to 1993 with this channeling session with some very important members of the Council of 12 who were visiting the base. We call it Answering the Council and Photonic Power. Now, side 1 starts with questions from 2 council members about the human race and where it was going psychically. They are curious about what timeline I could give them, providing circumstances took place. From there, we get to ask questions of Korton, Omal, Kiri, and Karra, who shows how to detect various forms of energy that can be used in healing such as photonic and infrared. A more detailed description on our homepage can be found at hadesbasenews.com. We invite you to subscribe to be kept informed of future postings on our YouTube channel from the members of Ashtar Command. And now we present our latest entry into the Ashtar Command archives, Answering the Council and Photonic Power.
Prepared to deceive them?
As prepared as I can be.
Okay, then we shall proceed. Omal and myself will be acting as intermediates for the other persons here, as some of them have difficulty with your language. Okay. First question is from a colleague of mine, and he wishes to know, where do you perceive your species going?
Perceive our species actually manifesting itself into fifth dimension over a long period of time. But basically, recovering those skills which were lost so long ago.
What sort of time frame would you give for this?
Well, probably using a few natural disasters, 50 years.
Okay. A question from myself. In the past, you have been working with shielding techniques. How useful do you find these?
Well, as with today's experiment, I find them essential.
Can you explain in a little bit more detail, please?
In that we sometimes cannot control our thoughts or projections, myself included, but most other members of the human race. And therefore, shielding by itself is essential to keeping those sometimes accidental projections from either disturbing our thought patterns or draining energy from us, either from directly drawing it from us or accidentally. Also, outside influences from those beings who are not human. Shields are essential for maintaining effective guard up against probes.
Okay. A question from another visiting person. The skills that you have, how best do they serve you?
In that, by using them, I can find advantages in dealing with the human condition of survival and gaining assistance from not only my subconscious, but other people's energies to help basically the condition of the world around them. For example, uh, coercion used in its best form is an excellent healing tool. The same goes with shielding. By being able to help someone else develop their shields, they're able to work better within their environment.
Okay. Which skill do you use most frequently?
Presently, I'm using farsighting the most, but shielding comes in a real close second.
Would you say that your farsighting is stronger than your other skills?
Mm. No, actually, I'd say my coercion's probably the strongest. Okay. With again, shielding coming up as a close second.
A question from the first person. Would it be better for your species to concentrate on their mind instead of their surroundings?
Absolutely. Only because by concentrating more on the mind, you can affect your surroundings.
How do you come to this conclusion?
Whereby, without the use of the mind and those gifts, letting your surroundings control you without any work with the mind, you merely just go through the day-to-day life and living. But by working with the mind and achieving those gifts and goals that you set for yourself, you're able to interact more with your environment that is beneficial to you and everyone else around.
Question from the second person. How does your addiction affect your capabilities?
Well, I've had to change my mind on that, as a matter of fact. Whereby at first I had thought it was a problem with being able to increase my abilities. I find now that in some instances it can actually be a benefit to learning those, as for example last night with farsighting, whereby normally I don't like to farsight while because I can't control my mind, my thought patterns as well as I can when I'm not. Last night it freed me from my doubting mode and allowed me to exercise some new techniques which I hadn't put into use before.
So this addiction that you have is beneficial for dispelling any doubt that you have. It gives you a confidence boost.
Right.
Question from myself. Sometimes you have this doubt problem. Would it be useful to use this in the learning process?
No, because then you think too much. And the doubts are stronger, actually, in the first part of it, because it kind of reinforces that doubt. It's not till after you've learned your abilities and have been able to exercise your gifts more that you're able to free up the doubt centers then when you do this.
Yes, but by debating with yourself, can you not overcome these doubts by persuading yourself, by using the facts that you have at hand to dispel any moral dilemmas or doubts that you have?
Not really, because the facts that you're working with are those that have been ingrained into you since birth, being as if these things are impossible and it's mere figments of your imagination and can't possibly be real.
Yes, but by debating with yourself and explaining what you've actually experienced with what you actually believe, isn't experience more powerful than what you perceive or believe?
True, you have to see it to believe it, basically. So yeah, debates would be helpful though.
Okay. A question from the first member. Where do you see yourself personally evolving within your present lifetime?
I see myself as evolving to be a masterclass healer.
Mhm. What is your definition of a masterclass healer?
Karra.
Explain in more detail, please.
Okay.
This gentleman is not fully versed with Kara's capabilities, as he is a visitor from another station.
Well, it would be that being able to project your healing energies into another body and being able to help their mind overcome the mental impossibilities of being able to heal themselves with their minds would be technically a masterclass healer.
And from the second gentleman, your union with Kara, and I'll just briefly explain that this gentleman is fully aware of Kara's capabilities. Your union and the fruit of this union, what potential do you perceive them to have?
The union and the fruit of the union will produce, in my own opinion, a uh, gene pool that will set the stage for the future. But mostly the skills and the training that they will learn will make them explore their potentials to their fullest without any interference from uh, doubt or adverse training that, say, someone from birth may have.
Mhm. Okay, again from the second gentleman. Referred to the gene pool. This presumably would mean the fruits from other unions with other people of your species.
Correct.
How do you feel about their mental evolution and what do you see as their full potential, assuming that they have a wide spectrum of capabilities?
Well, I see that um, they will, with that wide spectrum of their abilities and training, be able to learn and become masterclass in various functions instead of just singular functions. For example, instead of being, say, a masterclass healer and that's it, you'd have a masterclass healer farsighter or a masterclass TK, whereby you have skills that can be built upon other skills.
Okay. Now we're going to concentrate briefly on questions from the first individual as he has a limited time. So we will concentrate on those questions.
Okay.
Concerning your capabilities, in an aggressive situation, which capability would you fall back on first?
Shielding.
Isn't shielding not a capability as in the sense of coercion, farsight, psychokinesis, healing?
Well, being able to learn how to use shielding as an aggressive tool, it puts it in a capability that would make it far more powerful than, say, any others except perhaps coercion.
Okay. Um, hold on a second. Okay. When your shielding capability is being used, do you back it up with one of your other capabilities, such as coercion?
Yes.
In what way?
Well, at present, it's only hypothetical because I haven't had a chance to really put it to use. But in an optimal situation, the best defense is a strong offense. Being able to use an aggressive shield along with aggressive coercion would be basically the ultimate in self-defense.
Mm. Just a few seconds ago, you mentioned fusing in a defensive mode on offensive mode. Where does this theory derive from, and does it have any significance in your society?
Mhm. Because first off, you have to identify the threat. To do so, you have to put yourself into a defensive mode to counter the threat, and then put yourself into an offensive mode to thwart the threat.
Mm. Isn't it sometimes better to um, be the aggressor in the situation where the potential for another party to attack you or to be an aggressor towards you? Isn't it better to strike them first before they strike you?
Would be, but there's always the chance that you could make a mistake, and that your assumptions that it could be a potentially hostile situation might be your own fears coming to the front. And so you might strike prematurely at someone who, as it turns out, might not have the same aggressions you were worried about.
Okay.
Sort of to analyze the situation first to determine the amount of the threat being used against you and be able to come up with a rational threat analysis would be a far better offense.
Okay. Have there been any other incidences with your species of um, advanced usage of various capabilities?
Um, Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. How do you see your species' capabilities evolving? Would such fields as healing, coercion, psychokinesis become more pronounced over many years, or would it still remain to a small select group?
No, because of the chaos theory, you might say, or better yet, exponential determination, whereby you see a small seed that turns into a huge tree. There's no other where else for it to go except to spread outward. Roots must spread. And that's what we're seeing now, is those roots spreading. And though apparently on the surface, it's a slow growth, it is still a growth. And I see that as progressing faster and faster as the years go by.
Okay.
But I'm an optimist.
Yes, we understand that. You said that the growth of your species and their capabilities would be a gradual affair. Once the growth starts to become noticeable, do you think that groups would try to accelerate the process or continue cautiously?
Actually, it'll be determined, I feel, through world events. Uh, the possibilities of natural calamities or man-made catastrophes could um, bring those to the forefront and make them accelerate faster. Without those said catastrophes or calamities, I see it as being slow and cautious.
Okay, we have one more question from the first gentleman, and that is, you speak of your planet's potential, the human potential, to cause extreme chaos and devastation. Do you ever see that being curbed, or do you see that more as a tool for the mental evolution once you have started on the road to becoming a truly operant species?
Absolutely. There has to be that mind change from this mindset that it's in right now. At present, with our current state of growth psychically, I see a bit of a stalemate that will keep it at slow growth. But with uh, stress applied on a worldwide scale, it would cause more people to look elsewhere for um, abilities to express what has been hidden inside.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I see it as essential to get to proper growth.
Okay. He says, thank you for your time. Okay. We will continue with the second individual who has a few more questions, and then we will hand over to Amal.
Okay.
Your gene pool that you have or have started, um, how sound do you think it is, or could it do with um, more infusion of a slightly different gene plasma from um, more of your species?
At present, I think the gene pool is at its optimal, or will be at its optimal strength for study. Basically because uh, adding too many more factors into it would be uh, too much data. At present, I think that with the gene pool we have, we'll get a fair representation of what the potentials could be. After that point, I feel that adding more factors into it would be the right timing and find the right results.
Okay. Your entertainment for visual stimulation concerning science fiction. How do you see this concerning actual known factors out in your local neighborhood?
Well, basically, I see a lot of our visual entertainment, especially science fiction, as being productive toward expanding people's consciousness. Take, for example, this evening, where the channeler recorded a broadcast of a movie called Star Wars, in which the use of what's called the Force is vividly described and demonstrated. That alone, with the amount of people who saw it, created a consciousness revival, you might say, on a worldwide scale.
Yes. Sorry to use as the second person that you mentioned Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
This thing that you describe as the Force, do you perceive it as an energy flow of fictitious, or do you see it as something that actually exists that was used for entertainment purposes?
No, I see this as being a very real manifestation of electron energy and being able to harness the electron and photon energies present around us. The force is merely a term used to describe that.
Final question from the second gentleman. The characters in the movie, particularly the hairy one, how close do you think it is to our species? That is the second gentleman.
Right. Well, being as we call it the Wookiee compound, it's pretty close. I think George Lucas, who wrote that, basically had an inside edge on this and basically described accurately what he saw, either in dreams or in actual astral projection, and put it down on paper.
Okay. The second individual says, "Thank you very much." Sorry, I can't imitate what he said, and it also unfortunately loses itself in the translation.
Thank you, also.
I'll now hand over to Omal briefly.
Okay, thank you, Korton.
Greetings, Russ.
Greetings, Omal.
Slightly different format, isn't it?
Slightly different, sort of like the time we had the council here.
Yes, this slightly is. There was only 3 of us from the council. The first gentleman has gone off to talk with Ashtar, who was hoping to be present, but unfortunately, there are other matters that have kept him busy. This is going to be a 2-part session.
Okay.
Due to the fact of the physical strain that we are putting on the channel. So we will break when we reach the other side of the tape, and then we will continue after the break.
Okay.
That will also give us time to move to our normal location where we will have the rest of the cast.
Alrighty.
Okay. Now, do you have some questions for me?
Yes, I do, as a matter of fact.
I shall endeavour to do my best to answer.
Memories whatsoever. Okay. A lot of what I'm working on now concerns exactly the questions that were answered, specifically the energy forms that we're using here. Knowing now principles for the energy being electron and photon, my question is, it's said that we lived in a closed system and that the energy cannot be created or destroyed, specifically mental, spiritual, emotional. Now, the energy then that is not destroyed, would this be then the energy that we're using constantly?
Yes. The good way to describe it is you understand physics, potential kinetic energy. Quick demonstration. This crystal has potential energy other than its normal energy in the fact that it is here. That is potential energy. When I release it, thus, that is kinetic energy that is being used. Now, I will expend some kinetic energy. Sorry, I didn't intend it to disappear.
No.
We have located it. Okay. This is more demonstration of kinetic energy. Now, it is back as potential energy. And I shall not work as hard.
Okay.
We return it to the kinetic state, and it is at rest here, and it has potential energy.
Oh, I see.
Kinetic energy, potential, kinetic again, back to potential, and then finally kinetic again.
So the energy that we're using at present is potential energy until we put it into use.
Correct.
No, so we could basically, it could be called kinetic at one point, be called mental or spiritual. There's different forms of the same energy.
There is different forms depending on its use. All energy is energy until it is used. It is all potential, depending on what you use it for, varies in its name, but it is still energy.
Does this energy, could you say, have a consciousness?
In its raw form, no. Refined, used, and focused, you could say yes, but in a limited way.
So in other words, you could direct this energy and the energy would mimic those thought waves you put into it.
Correct.
And so, say, for example, I want to send Joey a little message of love. I would direct the energy from me into kinetic energy from myself to Joey. At the point it reached Joey, you could say that energy had a consciousness that it's projecting love to Joey.
You have new person present?
The cat.
Oh, so.
That's all right. The challenge cat. But anyway, theoretically, that would be the consciousness of the energy. Then it's whatever
you desire it to be, you mold it and shape it, but you cannot create it as it already exists in the potential form.
Correct.
Okay.
All right.
There are, however, a few clauses, you might say sub-clauses, and one is dealing with vacuums. And if this is a very hard analogy to use, you have a table that is totally smooth, no friction, and it stretches on for infinity. There is no gravitational deviations, although an object of the aforementioned size would definitely produce some. But if there was no gravity produced by this, and you had a perfectly spherical object, again, totally frictionless, and you were to sit it on the table, it would have potential energy. But once you push it, it would be using kinetic energy.
Right.
However, it would not stop and rest because in the vacuum of space, there is no friction to stop it.
You go infinity.
Infinitely in the kinetic state, recycling the energy over and over again, but never coming to the state of rest of potential energy. That is one clause.
So you could apply that here in the fact that once you send that energy out, until it is stopped by whatever you directed it at or something in between, it'll continue on without rest.
Correct. As energy does not concern itself with the laws of friction.
Mm-hmm.
One of the side effects of friction is heat, which can be collected and stored and recycled.
Right.
But without friction, this cannot happen.
But now if energy is directed out towards something and that something affects that energy, wouldn't the air molecules in between also affect that energy?
Yes.
So essentially that energy would be slowed down until it reached that object.
Yes, but it is so minute, it is almost imperceptible. You know what I mean.
Right. Now what about through, say, walls?
That would slow it down somewhat, but it depends on how strong the energy wave is. I see you are asking a question on farsighting and penetration of objects. Depending on the capability of the individual, depends on how well you can penetrate walls and rocks. It does not only rely on the energy flow, but it also relies on the desire to penetrate by that individual.
Now the astral body is made up of various gases and energy, and specifically heat. Now, when you approach a solid with your astral body, you effectively part the molecules that are holding that solid object in place. If you were to draw energy from those same molecules you're parting, you'd have no loss.
Correct.
So the idea is to have a frictionless astral body.
Correct. See. Okay, next question.
Okay. Last night, after I got into Karra's bed, with my astral body, I popped back into consciousness on my earth body here. At that point, I popped sort of back and forth. I practiced, finding my consciousness there, here, there, here. How was it that I could keep my astral body there, my physical body here, and go back and forth?
Because of the delay effect. You see, when you leave here, you leave an energy trace. which is almost a replica of you. And then it fades away as the energy dissipates and returns to different states. But if you're traveling backwards and forwards, then the energy flow is still there and is held in shape by you switching backwards and forwards.
So my astral body actually was coming back and forth.
Yes.
But the energy I left there won't fit that astral body perfectly.
Correct.
So they just left. I see it. Now, one thing last night is I felt a physical pull around my shoulders, which I wanted to follow, but I couldn't release. Now, would it be optimally, I've never felt this before, but should I have released or found a way to release?
Yes. Presumably this was something to do with your addiction.
Correct. It was just this, like somebody just grabbed my shoulders and said, "Come on, you're going with me." But I couldn't let go of everything except my shoulders.
Did you feel any particular sensations from this, or was it no sensation apart from the pulling effect?
Just the pulling effect, like somebody had a huge back and I was being kind of sucked up.
Did you feel any uncomfortableness, or did you feel as if you wished to accept this?
Well, I felt no uncomfortableness. I wanted to accept it, but I could not find the mental releases to let it go. Because I felt if I had, it would have been almost a solid form of myself going.
Okay. I will look into this. Korton has returned, and I will hand over to Korton now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Greetings once again.
Greetings again, good.
Okay, let us proceed with questions.
Okay. I'd like to go on with the test that we had this evening.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
All right. Now, when I first got the warning in my right ear that the raise shields started off with just my basic shields and worked up through my next three without the static shielding. So I went through my basic shields and then the 3 stack shields and still got penetrated through for time until I finally got my static shields built up and stopped it. As I was physically ill practically for the rest of the night.
Yes. You want how I rate you on that?
Yes, and then I'm doing the other basics in a second.
Okay. A little bit slow in response. A little bit sloppy with your static screen, as that should have been thrown up directly after you had put up your stack screening, with as little delay as possible.
Right.
See, the less delay, the less chance of penetration. Once penetration has happened, then throwing up static screening is a frivolous expenditure of energy.
I was trying to deal with Mark, talk to him, maintain shields, and static would have cut all that out. So I probably should just stop talking to Mark.
Yes.
Okay. Now, my question is, would it have been a better solution to work backwards? Start with static screens and work down.
It is allowing yourself room to work in. You see, if you miscalculate on the room that you wish to work in, then you would have to cut out one of your shields or make them thinner.
But with practice, I could know exactly where to set it all up at.
Yes.
Okay. So if I could get that practice down to a science, then it would be feasible.
Correct.
Good. Can I get tested again in the future?
Yes, possibly.
Okay. Leave it as an option for, I think, well, even though, yes, I did get physically ill practically, the lessons I learned had to be learned, and I'm glad I did. So I look forward to any more lessons I can gain from that.
You're welcome, and you will receive possibly some more lessons.
It's essential, I think.
Okay, next question.
Okay. Primitive autoconscious, which is basically allowing the subconscious to move into control at a second's notice.
Yes.
To where you've got it planned out exactly how it should be done, and you will let it slap in. With the shieldings afternoon, I think it would be quicker and a better response time if I can get that primitive autoconscious in to where it could put it up without my consciously having to set up each shield and so on.
Okay.
What would be a way where I could enhance that autoconscious?
Okay. Let me see. A way to enhance it would be through first understanding the principles of it. And that would be best achieved by reading and listening to information that you can find in your literature and then discussing it with us, so that by doing so, you can learn more about it through discussion.
Okay. Yes, the book I'm working on deals with this called psychology. And so far it's given me an idea into the basic mechanics of energy work.
Yes.
Okay. Now, one of the things that it is discussing is using the astral body for various skills. For example, PK, manifestation, astral projection, of course, and so on. With that,
I'm gonna have to try and pour you one of these days.
I'm not going to eat so much though.
Is that better?
Yeah, now you can fool it.
Okay. I can't help it.
And then you'll never be able to fool me.
Maybe I will. What do you think?
I think it's not. I don't think you have to worry about it.
Okay.
So, what's our scheduling, mistress?
Ring mistress, huh? How about if I change my name to it? Alvira, Mistress of Darkness?
Fine.
Is that right, Alvira?
I'm fine.
Okay. So, what we're going to do is be real relaxed, real cool, hip and mad. Any questions for them?
Questions?
What's the Chandler been drinking?
Hot chocolate.
Ah. Has it all over his moustache? I suppose you could say he's saving it for Ron? Later on?
Later on. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Well, dear, let's talk about reverse magnetics.
Try.
Alright, fair enough. Being as this is in the core subfield, you might say.
You thinking hot chocolate? Don't smell like it.
Oh, it's cinnamon apple tea.
But doesn't tea come from the Chimsis japonica?
Oh, yeah, and then you add some cinnamon and some apple in with it.
Ah.
Boil it in the water, that's what you get.
Ooh.
Reverse magnetics.
Oh.
This is for attracting others.
Ooh.
Which one?
We're talking about people?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what we have here is whereby two people coming together have the same magnetic field on the front of their bodies. A natural polarity tends to not attract, the opposite attraction. Repel each other, correct.
Uh-huh.
So two people coming together naturally repel each other.
Mm-hmm.
Now, reverse magnetics is where you change the magnetic polarity of the front of your body so that you attract each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Male or female doesn't matter.
Right. How does that work mentally? How do you mentally command your polarities to change?
Ooh, tricky question.
But you wanted tricky questions.
Yeah, I do. Makes me think.
There you go.
Okay. How it works, if I can get this far, I'm not very good at explaining it, I can demonstrate much better. Is by changing your magnetics, what you do is put it front about face, not arse about face.
Okay.
How do you do that?
Alright.
Very carefully, because it can goof you up.
Yeah.
Like me sometimes.
How bad? But is there a certain switch you throw? Is there...
It's more along the lines of visualizing yourself as a magnet and seeing it upended so that you have the south side facing north and north side facing south, or whatever. Or facing the person.
Essentially, you'd see, instead of an auric field around you, you'd see a magnetic field.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you need to do is to visualize your energy in front of you drawing in like a magnet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you have the magnet, and it kind of goes like this.
Right.
But if you go, it goes like that.
Mm-hmm.
Getting good hand-eye coordination, aren't I?
Yes, you are.
Gotta do it slowly. It's seeing, looking at the hologram and then seeing me use the hands. But you get the general idea instead of going.
Alright. Go the other way.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it.
Mm-hmm. You want me to demonstrate?
Oh, sure.
Come up here and I'll demonstrate. Actually, you won't get anybody out of me that way. It'll have to be mentally. And I'll have you with your mind going, kapoo, kapoo, kapoo. You know, that is one of the joys of being pregnant, is that you don't have to have, how do you call it, the woman's curse?
Mm-hmm. That's right. The menstrual cycles.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next question.
Righty. Now then, in coercion, what part do the eyes play?
They play a very vital part. It's looking right into the iris. So it's basically black on black. Or red on red, depending on whose eyes you're looking into.
Okay. Now,
Not the iris, the pupil, right in that little dark spot.
Right. Now, wearing contacts affect anyone?
A little.
Glasses?
A little. It's more protection to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Stops you from getting coerced. Like if you were to coerce me, right? It'd be harder for me to turn around and coerce you back if I was of the same power.
Because the energies are closer to me coming through than they would be to me.
That's right. It'd be dissipated.
Yes.
But because I'm better than you, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever.
So we're about equal then.
Yeah. Right. It makes a plain bit of difference to you. Isn't that what you are without your contacts?
Yeah, just about. Oh, well, it's fun to think about it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all the questions I have in coercion.
Oh, party pooper. Let's see who I can go and coerce. I suppose I could coerce Big Sis to coerce you. Nah, she can't coerce to save her stockings.
Okay, fair enough.
Mhm.
Alright, well, have fun, darling. I'll talk to you later.
Trying to get rid of me?
You're already on my way out.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
Says who?
You did.
No, I didn't. I never said I'm out here. And I said that I was going to, not I will be, which implies that I will be departing imminently. It says I will be. Never mind. Get me all confused. I'm going to have to go.
My sweetheart.
Don't try to coerce me, buddy. Otherwise I'll come down there and I'll zap your brains.
Okay. Have a wonderful night, darling.
I'm out of here.
Bye, sweetheart.
And what have you been eating, being Paul?
Drinking, actually, tea.
Ah, makes your stomach rumble.
Rumbling like a monster. Well, Karra, my darling.
Yes.
How are you?
Did that answer your question?
So how did that go last night?
I went alright. You looked a bit strange for a while.
I agree.
Getting very funny around the edges, aren't you?
A little bit. But, felt a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
In more ways than one.
Mm-hmm.
But, I haven't quite got the ticket yet down how to maintain that at a constant level.
Practice. No, I've got a question for you. Mark just said address me as Your Majesty. Why?
Oh, it's about a movie that he just watched with Charlton Heston called The Awakening. And there's a character called Kiri and Karra.
Ooh, I'm a queen, am I?
Yeah, nice. Now your namesake.
Okay. Right, first of all, the bad news. We are going to split up the kittens.
Could be good news too, though.
Yeah, good and bad news. The reason being is that we have to increase the sedation daily. It has to be increased daily because of their mental growth. And there is no way that we can stop them from playing, fighting, chasing each other, messing around, and being generally mischievous. Take off the muggy look at that.
That makes sense.
So we're going to have to split them up. Which means a few more days of uncomfortableness for Paulina. But she's already been moved down to little It's not actually a little room. It's the room next door to the genetics lab. You know which one? One that we go into sometimes. Or will do in the future.
You'll do
It's so we've got two largest beds in there. We've got a load of monitoring devices, maybe like Councilmembers. And we have a couple of technicians that are going to work with them for the time being, and then Korton and myself will be on a call. So we're vetting, what would you call it? The maternity room?
maternity room.
Yeah. Ward. What's a ward?
Part of a hospital where they keep your babies.
Oh.
Like you got an intensive care ward, a maternity ward, like a
Pediatric ward. I think I know what you mean.
alright. So
But doesn't it also describe a room?
yeah.
Or somebody that has made a ward of your legal system?
Yeah. Ward of the core.
It's a very confusing word. Oh, well,
It's in
never mind.
English.
One word meaning many things. So, we're going to move Luna in there first. And, I told her not to go and tell Tia that, that's what we're going to do. She should be very malleable at the moment, because, when Mark left her earlier on, she was, although mobile, suffering a little bit. She's getting good at masking her pain in there.
That's good. So Mark hasn't told you yet.
Probably is as we talked.
Good. He's been fudging on it, so I wanted to make sure that at least she got found, she finds out about it and take it the best way she can.
She's, I don't think at the moment she would care, because, we doped her up again. From the original amount that we started off giving her, which was about, 5 cc's, it's now up to about 15. And if you go any higher, it's going to get, to the stage where she will sleep for, 23 out of 24 hours, which isn't good for her, because she cannot get enough, protein in her system by doing that. And, she cannot get enough activity to burn off what protein that she could get in. So she'll put on excess weight and be very harmful and detrimental to her health.
I see. So she get the help she needs.
And she should get more like her normal self.
Good.
So we'll probably start the procedure, 2 days from now would be Monday night?
It's Saturday, Sunday, Monday night.
Yeah. That's when we'll be starting the procedure.
Okay, what do I need to do?
Probably Tuesday evening. Because it's quite a long, drawn out, thing. So, I won't be available for about 24 hours.
Alright. Are we doing a regular Tuesday session that night, or we
Yeah.
cancel?
Yeah, it should be over by about the time, the session starts.
Okay, so I'll far sight up there, hang out in the background, outside until I know if I'm needed or not.
Yeah.
And pop out and head for the session.
So we will be finished by about 7 o'clock of your evening.
This would be very tricky.
Don't worry, I'll keep an eye on the time for you. Okay, but unfortunately, for that 24-hour period, I will not be available.
No, that's alright, darling.
But you can go and hang out with, Kiri.
Okay.
She seems quite taken with you at the moment.
That's true. Here's the question I've got, though.
With
my not necessarily huge amounts of times that I farsight or time I spend up there while farsighting, what would be the optimal range in my abilities to get up there and wait. Let's call it a time, 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock.
Yeah, that would be best.
Speed up my math.
Mm-hmm. That would be come up at 6:30. That way it'd give you enough leeway.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after 6:30 on Tuesday then, alright.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And the little one, what's her name? Hold on a second. Athena?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's
Manifestor, yeah.
yeah, right. Dream on, buddy.
Sweet dreams.
Sorry, I would behave myself. I got a little carried away last time.
It's alright.
Mm-hmm. But,
I live for it.
mm-hmm. Right. Now, we've got over the good, the bad, and the ugly news. Now, what do you want to know?
Okay. Now, I was being asked a few questions earlier upon my potential,
Mm-hmm.
and said basically that I'm looking forward to becoming a master class healer like yourself.
Oh, thank you.
But, to do so, I need to gather about a bunch more energy to be able to do so. Now, with that, I need to find out more about photonic energy, or photonic power, and what that has to do with healing.
Well, that is a pulse energy that you can emit into your subject. And how you get it is by, like you furiously scribbling away that. Is it in is it in Chinese?
He looks like Chinese, yeah.
Aramaic is what I was trying to say.
You do it.
Okay, what you have to do is separate all the energy around you beforehand. Right, and you receive different types of energy.
Okay.
And you pick out the one that feels pulsing. And you stick it into an energy cell. You keep on plugging it in and pushing it in and pushing it in and pushing it in and pushing it in and out and out and out. Sorry. Pushing it in until you can't get any more in. Then you go over to your subject and working very carefully and very fine focus. Best to use some artificial aid like a crystal or a scalpel crystal. You pump the energy in.
Okay.
But in a steady stream. And because it is a pulsing energy, it tends to batter the affected area. Also, if you want to become a master class, you've got to sit down and read some more, unfortunately.
My anatomy book?
Yeah. One of these days I will test you.
Oh boy.
I will stand up and I will say, now explain a function of, and I shall select part of the anatomy.
Now, the brain horns and their function here. The brain horns being the optic nerves connected with the retina, and the brain waves going straight to the optic nerves to the retina, which transforms it then into light energy. This would direct that pulsing energy.
Yes.
And this is what would find the difference between the two kinds of energy. Now, when I'm looking to separate these energies and find the one that pulses, I've never done this before or recognized it as such. How am I going to recognize the pulsing energy?
You'll know it when you come across it. Excuse me, I'm gonna have to talk to Kiri for a second. She's come back, she's got a package. And she's also tickling my feet with a feather. Okay.
Sisters.
Yes.
Okay. Now then, by sending this pulsing energy into the crystal,
Mm-hmm.
would the energy be amplified, the pulsations amplified then once through the crystal?
And focused.
Amplified and focused.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, until you can get the pulsings down to a fine art,
Yeah.
the crystals will help enhance that energy.
Well, it's always useful to use them because you can get much finer focus. You see, the best way to start off with is with pulsing energy is to do it slowly, so it pulses slowly. This takes longer to work. It's also good learning for you. Now, when you start to accelerate it, it works better. And again, it is a good learning experience. When you reach the full potential of it, like it is almost a steady stream that feels more vibrational. It vibrates a lot.
Okay.
It
Now-
amuses you that I'm having difficulty with words.
Well, something.
Okay.
You do, human. Just an expression.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Oh, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the difference I could see then between pulsing energy would be photonic energy.
Mm-hmm.
The non-pulsing energy would then be the electronic energy.
Cool.
So just see it.
Yes.
Yeah. So it'd be kind of like using a jackhammer.
How what?
Oh, it's a human construction tool. Where you work on streets and tear up the asphalt.
Ah.
You use a bit that gets driven in, real fast.
Okay. I have another question. What is asphalt?
Oh, it's what we make the streets out of.
Ah, okay. I get a rough idea.
Right, it's that black top stuff that you drive on.
Okay.
Okay. So, they would work the same way.
Same way as what?
Now check.
What's a jackhammer? Sorry, I'm being silly.
It's alright.
I can't help it. Well, according to Q just said that I'm radiating. Blooming like a wildflower. Okay, next question.
Okay, I was asking Kiri about reverse magnetics
Mm-hmm.
and for use to attracting others. Now, I
Does-
mean, the body, you working with a patient
Mm-hmm.
would have a natural repelling effect
Yeah.
upon another patient.
Mm-hmm.
So, to combat that, do you have to reverse your magnetics?
No, it is useful to have that because it protects you, the healer.
Oh, it does.
Yes.
Why?
Why? Because it is necessary sometimes for you to be protected. It is more like a whole entire surgical blood for the body.
Oh, I see. So it's kind of like another form of shielding.
Mm-hmm. But only for healing.
Mm.
It protects me from picking up any. Actually, it can be used in other things too, which can be very interesting.
I'll go to shoulder.
I will.
Oh, so in other words, you wouldn't attract that problem they have
That's right.
if your magnetics are at the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
Repel energy that you're trying to suck into you.
That's right. Korton has been excused, so it's just a mole humor. It's kind of. That's funny. It's funny with a feather.
Didn't you do that last time?
I think so.
That too.
Kiri, quick description of her. She was wearing a toga type thingy with red trim and gold trim. Yeah, she's screaming like, grinning like a maniac And the mole is trying to get it from her, but she's running around.
Too nice. Alright, now, one last question on infrared radiation. Projecting such through the eyes or hands into the person. Okay. Now, how do you... Now, this is different from the Korton ending. How would you discern that you're sending infrared radiation in? You know?
That's right, you do that.
Okay.
Demonstration. Put your hand above the crystal, alright? Tell me what you feel. Come in closer. That. That's right. What energy is that? Okay, that's enough.
That's infrared?
That's right.
Okay, I see. So it's not a visible rays.
That's right. What's that noise outside?
It looks like an engine.
Oh,
I see. And so the infrared has abilities to work on distant healing, tranquilizing, meditation, or suffering.
what's a Volkswagen?
It's an automobile that drives on the blacktop, which we call asphalt.
That you worked with on jackhammers.
That's right. I think you got the hang of it now.
Okay.
Okay. And so when you're healing, well, there's two more kinds of heat. For energy, radiant heat, infrared, radio waves, and body magnets. The first two are the ones you hear. Now, what was the difference between it? You just showed me radiant heat and infrared.
Because radiant heat can be used to help in the healing process. It is also a byproduct. Infrared, was it? Infrared is on the visual spectrum, or actually invisible spectrum. And again, that produces some heat, but not as much as previously mentioned.
So theoretically, they're just basically sending in the infrared and the radiant follows.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. So that basically would sending that energy in, the heat would affect those cells in the body. Because of hot?
Hey,
Could you just put like an iron on them or something? Or electric blanket?
well, especially they use the heat that is generated. You see.
Oh, that's true, because this is going back to our conversations earlier that I had with Omal and Korton, a almost conscious form of energy,
Correct.
whereas heat from electric blanket would be unconscious.
Correct. Okay, now, I've got to go and change and what to have in this package.
Okay.
See you in a few.
That's it.
Bye.
I know. And you got your feather taken away from you, did you?
I gave it away.
You gave it away.
Omal wanted to put it in the incinerator. He's a party pooper, isn't he? He's just here acting as law enforcement. Apparently, in the past, where it's just been myself, Big Sis, or Tia, we get a little bit rambunctious.
No.
So, we have either Korton or Omal. They don't necessarily channel, but they sit in to behave, to make sure we behave ourselves. Because somebody went blabbing about energy levels taking wild swings. Wasn't you, wasn't the channel, it was one of the technicians. Back to the technician. Oh, that came through down there, didn't it? Yep. Hera. Answer me this, please, if you could. Radio waves sent from the eyes for psychic power projection. Okay. How do you send radio waves? Well, it's thought rays as well. Oh, that's all it is. Yeah. It was not listening to the top 40 or Radio 1 or KOZZ. Yes, we hear what you listen to sometimes. Or the point. Is there a point to this conversation?
It's somewhere here. I haven't figured it out even.
Yeah. But, now it is thought waves.
Okay. Now, the different forms of thought waves or
Radio waves or whatever.
right, could also be broken down into the 5 various forms of consciousness:
Mm-hmm.
alpha, theta, delta, theta, gamma. Okay. When sending these radio waves, are you working on another person's beta side of the waves or somewhere else?
Somewhere else.
Alpha?
Possibly. I can be awkward.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be serious. Get the irritation in your voice. Okay. Now, if you project alpha waves, right, or conscious waves, it works on the subconscious ones. Catch my drift?
No. Because you said that sound like backwards.
Well,
If I'm sending alpha waves, it works on their subconscious, or if I'm sending data, it's working on their subconscious.
I can never remember which is which.
Alpha subconscious, beta is conscious.
Okay, it's beta then.
So sending conscious waves to act on their subconscious.
That's right.
Okay. Now, because the waves vibrate at different frequencies between alpha and beta, does that mean that you slow down your beta waves on the way
You
down?
slow down theirs.
Okay. Now, if they're dealing in beta form to where they're totally conscious, they don't recognize that the alpha waves are being worked on.
That's right.
All right. Now, how do you specifically direct your waves to their alpha centers?
By sheer power and weight. Very rapid. That's the rate, and the power is a lot of energy. More energy than they are expending.
Okay. Interesting. Now, if you were to use this against someone who had psychic abilities that was directed against you, would it be better to work on their delta centers then, which is their psychic power center?
That's right. Knock them out.
Okay. So normal people, you'd work with alpha. With someone with psychic abilities, you'd work on their delta.
Correct.
Now, with the delta, then you'd slow down their
Yes.
waves.
That's right.
But
The
what-
idea is, if you're in a mental confrontation, is that you've got to overwhelm them
Right.
to beat them, correct?
Correct.
You want to tell me? Archie Peter.
Outgun.
Not only outdone, but outmaneuvered.
Are you?
I bet you are more faster. I could suppress your waves so fast you wouldn't even know what hit you.
You have one.
Sorry, you have to excuse me. I feel very full of life, and I'm happy and I'm contented, and Alex has been great.
Right. That's great on all counts.
Yeah, I feel so wonderful.
Yeah.
I feel so harmonic.
You look harmonic.
Blow on me, and I shall make funny tunes.
I'm not. That's it. Good. So that gives me an idea on how to deal with threats.
Yep.
That's fun.
Uh-huh.
Now, what if you're not sure if they are psychic, but you might have a thinking idea? It wouldn't hurt them to work on their delta anyway.
No. It would just speed up the process and drain more energy from you.
I see. So working the delta keeps happening.
That'd be a frivolous expenditure of energy. See, making you think for a change, huh? Instead of me sitting down and telling you what to do. It's good for you. That's what Omal says anyway.
Right.
A message from Omal. Put out your hand and manifest! Manifest! He's shaking his head and saying he's joking.
I know. Okay. So with the Force, the dark side of the Force and the light side of the Force are nearly the same energies, but with different intentions.
That's right. You've been watching that movie again, haven't you?
Well, I'm not watching it.
Okay.
I can't believe I got through all my questions. I had 3 pages of questions and I got through them all.
Busy night, huh?
I do.
Now, I've got a question for you. We're coming up on an anniversary soon, around about September time.
Yeah.
Do you think we should celebrate it?
Absolutely.
Pardon? Yeah, it's their 1 year celebration.
Oh, I definitely think we should have a party.
Yep. Or was it August? I can't remember which. Was it August or September they got bonded?
Should be August, I think.
Yeah, I think it was mid-August. Okay.
I forgot a joke.
Okay.
Horse walks into a bar. The bartender says, "Why the long pose?"
Our mom thinks it's funny. I lose it in. Okay. A duck walks into the bar and orders a drink, and the barman tells him that it costs $1.25, and he says, "That's all right. Put it on my bill." It didn't work, did it?
No, that would be good.
Moltup was telling me that one.
Alright.
Hence the reason why it sounded as if I was reading from a script.
I appreciate all your help here.
What you call a nymphomaniac.
Kiri?
I can't help it. But for me, it's perfectly acceptable.